everybody, I'm Asgroth, and this is our second dungeon guide for the Cataclysm Heroics. Today we will be going over Blackrock Caverns, covering every detail that you need to know. Blackrock Caverns is one of the most difficult heroic dungeons of the Cataclysm. All the bosses require a decent amount of coordination, and there are some very tough DPS checks you might have problems dealing with lower gear levels, especially if this is your first time running heroic content of this expansion. The first boss of this instance is rom'oggor Bone Crusher. Before you pull him, make sure you clear all the trash near his location, as he will cry for help as you pull him and bring any nearby trash packs around. Tank damage during all the encounter can be tough to heal, so make sure to use the appropriate cooldowns to ensure survival at all times. The first main ability the boss will do is called Quake. Once he begins to cast it, all your group members should immediately move away from it, otherwise they will take a considerable amount of damage. Once the Quake finishes, Eds will spawn from that location, and your tank will need to pick them all up very quickly. He will cast Quake 2 times before his next big ability, which is called Chains of Woe. These chains will bring your group members right to the boss and root them in place until you kill them. As the chains are cast, rom'oggor will also cast Skull Crasher, which is a long cast that will one-shot any group member nearby, so you'll need to break the chains quickly and run away before it's too late. This ability will also kill any adds you have left over from the previous 2 Quakes, so you shouldn't have to worry about killing the adds. Just make sure you react quickly and move out of the Quake, and DPS the chains down to ensure all your group members can move away to safety. The second boss you will encounter is Korla, Herald of Twilight. This fight is very similar to another sprite from Karazhan. There will be 3 purple beams going directly on 3 adds. These beams will stack a debuff very quickly. Once it reaches 100 stacks, the target will turn to Evolved Twilight Zealot, which will very quickly wipe your group. The trick is to have one group member stack right behind each add and take the beam on themselves. Once the beam reaches 82 to 86 stacks, you will need to move away from it before you turn to a Zealot. Once the debuff wears off, you will be able to step right back into the beam and restart the cycle. Besides this mechanic, Korla will cast Dark Command, which is a 4-second fear on a random group member you will need to interrupt, as it may break the cycle of the beams and cause you or an add to turn to an Evolved Zealot. Also, Korla will randomly death grip a group member, which is unavoidable. Whenever this happens, you will need to back up that beam before it's too late. Remember, only people who don't have the debuff will be able to back up on beams, so you'll need to coordinate with your group who will be doing which role. Besides this mechanic, the fight is not very challenging damage-wise. Just make sure you switch in and out of the beams sufficiently and you will get your kill in no time. After Korla, you will meet Karsh, the Steelbender, which is a very complicated fight to execute. He has a shield that reduces damage taken by 99%. In order to break the shield, you will need to drag him through the lava in the middle of the room, which will melt it. The longer you keep him in the lava, the more his damage will melt, and the more damage he will take. There is a big downside to this though, as for every stack he gets, he will deal additional fire damage with all his attacks, and whenever he stands in the lava, he will cast a heat wave, which gets multiplied as well. The trick to the fight is to accomplish balance in between the damage your group takes and the damage you deal. For heroic mode, anything more than 10 or 12 stacks can very easily wipe your group. Your tank will need to kite the boss initially through the lava to melt his shield, then you can start DPSing. At this point, it becomes an exercise of melting his armor constantly without letting the stacks get to a high number. Once the boss reaches 50%, bound fire elementals will start spawning. If you kill these, they will melt into lava on the floor, which will in return melt the armor off the boss, and increase the damage your group takes to some very risky levels. Because of this, you will need to control the pace at which you kill the adds. You may have to let the stacks of the boss drop in order to let your healer keep up with the damage. Just remember that if you completely ignore the adds, your tank will be overwhelmed and die. The fourth boss of this instance is Beauty. However, she is currently bugged and is unkillable. The final boss is Ascendant Lord Obsidious. You will have 3 of his shadows as you pull him, and they will always attack the last player who hits them. They will also channel a healing reduction debuff on the current target if they are too close to them, so you'll need to kite them around the room. You can snare and or root any of the shadows. However, you cannot use any form of crowd control on them. Make sure to keep a safe distance in between you and the ads at all times, otherwise you will be immune to any healing effects. Remember that the ads will always chase whoever hits them last, so you can coordinate among your group members if you need some breathing room. Besides the shadows, the boss will cast Twilight Corruption on a random group member, which needs to be dispelled quickly, as it will deal a lot of damage. It might kill your members who have reduced healing effects. Obsidious will also randomly trade places with one of his shadows, wiping his threat table in the process, so you should not kite the ads too far away, otherwise your kiter may die. Last but not least, you also randomly cast Thunderclap, reducing the movement, casting, and attack speed of any nearby players, so as a caster, you want to stay away from him as best as you can. You have now completed Blackrock Caverns on Heroic Mode. Congratulations. This was Asgaroth, bringing you another LoD Cataclysm Dungeon Guide. If you want to see other boss guides, make sure to check both our channel and our website, and feel free to join our blog to participate on our discussions. Both links can be found in the description box below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.